I like to say, we're like the Cheesecake Factory of Central Square. I mean, we can have grandma eating, one thing, and we could have some punk rock kid eating another thing. We want a restaurant that we can cook whatever the we wanted to, anytime we wanted to. It's, I think, every chef's dream to not be stuck in a genre of saying, oh, this is an Italian restaurant, we have to cook Italian food. This is a Spanish restaurant, we have to cook Spanish food. We wanted the no rules genre to have a restaurant. People are always like, what is Little Donkey? And we want that. We want people talking about our restaurants, and we want it to come up in conversation, and we want it to be kind of thought-provoking. We wanted a restaurant that was the workhorse of a neighborhood.
The development of the menu has been great that way because literally one of us might be traveling somewhere or reading an article or talking to a friend who's from another country, and then we can come in and be like, hey, what about doing this with this? And instead of doing it this way, we can do it that way, and like researching it to know everything we can find out, everything we can taste about a dish, and then making it our own, and it's just so rewarding. The miso banana bread toad in the hole is definitely one of those dishes that came from KO. That was one of those moments where I'm like, as much as I've known you, for as long as I've known you, I still have no idea what's going on in your brain, because that just sounds odd.
Both of us love cooking breakfast. Jamie loves eating breakfast. I think it's his favorite meal of the day. We want to create something that was not the traditional type of breakfast. So we were thinking maybe if we could do something like banana bread, but how can we make banana bread more savory? And it's like, maybe if we put miso in it, that kind of got that thought process going. And then we're like, why don't we try a toad in the hole? Because it's nothing better than griddled banana bread, where it gets really caramelized and crispy on the outside. And then that way the egg can kind of cook right in the middle. And then with the habanero sausage, something spicy, which is one of my favorite sausages he's ever come up with.
It just came out so great, and it's so interesting, and I think it's one of the epitome dishes of Little Donkey because it sounds interesting, it's thought-provoking, it's a little bit familiar, and then all the flavors together work in such a creative and interesting way. It's sweet, it's spicy, it's rich, it's savory. It hits so many different notes. I don't think we've ever had a complaint about it. Fried chicken is something that I think most chefs really crave. I mean, I've heard some chefs we're friends with say that they order fried chicken on a menu as a side every time they see it. And we love that, that really crispy Korean-style fried chicken, and we'd always talked about working on a different way. And then a friend of ours did a fried chicken sandwich. It was like so highbrow, lowbrow. We took his recipe, made it our own, and just really nailed it and decided to put it with, things that we thought were craveable. Avocado ranch, because
why not?
Why not?
Everybody loves ranch, everybody loves avocado.
And then we both love that green papaya salad that you get in Southeast Asia. It's almost like a slaw. And then we put it on a Martin's potato roll with some pickled jalapenos to just give it one more texture and a little bit more spice, and that's it. I have one a week.
Yeah, for me it takes a lot of self-discipline to not.
But avocado's healthy-ish. Mixed with
on a
ranch.
Martin's potato roll.
Yeah, maybe it's not healthy. Back in the day when KO and I first met, one of the things everybody did was go to Chinatown late night. I always fell in love back then with dry fried chow food. And there's some great noodle factories here that make awesome chow foo noodles, which are like a wide rice noodle. We thought Calabrian chilies have a lot of the same spice and acidity as Chinese chilies do, so we use Calabrian chilies. We're like, what's something that you don't necessarily see a lot of times in a chow foo? So we thought, oh man, a fried soft shell crab on top of the chow foo will add such a great juxtaposition of texture and flavor of those soft, luscious noodles, and then the crispy fried seafood. So we went that route, a little bit of black vinegar to hold it all together, and that dish came out pretty well.
It's a real chefy version of a Chinatown classic. I don't know if chefs are envious of having a restaurant kind of like this, but I think it's a lot of pressure to have a lot of different thoughts in your head about cuisines. Not all chefs have the kind of scatterbrain probably that we have.
A lot of chefs will come up and say that they have a specific way that they put their menus together, and they're like, all right, well, this time of year, this is my thought for this, this, and this. And sometimes I'd like to think that we were that organized, but really what happens is one of us gets excited about something, we get fixated on it, we come in, we start working on it, and then somehow it evolves into whatever it turns into. You know, for us, it's just about, making sure that we represent enough different cultures. So sometimes we'll sit down and say, there's too many of the same flavor profiles, let's change this. Sometimes we want to take classics, but we want to make the classics a little bit more thought-provoking. So we add other ingredients to it that work, that taste delicious, that other people may not have thought to put together. And you end up with razor clam and kielbasa casino, which is so good.